Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Last Things Last podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Myers, joined by my co-hosts, Justin Mandy and MJ Niscoda, and our buddy Anthony Cole joining us. Say hi to the listeners, guys.
Justin, you need to turn that background back on.
Hello,
that was
everyone.
Straight fire. Do it every now and then. When
So-
Kevin's getting heated with his argument, just turn it on.
Yeah,
We
I'll toss it on.
We all have virtual backgrounds except Justin because his computer's from 1973. So that function does not work on his. But when he does turn it on, it's pretty great. So that might happen throughout this. Now,
Thank you.
Here we go,
Good
boys.
point,
So,
MJ.
let's give you some background to what's about to happen. So when we started this podcast, about every couple episodes, we were talking about basketball. The little debate of Jordan versus LeBron would come in. We'd go at each other for a little bit and then move on to something else. And we always said we'll probably argue this for one full cast episode, but never really got to it. MJ suggested it as being the moderator when we added him into the cast. Anthony's in here to add Allen Iverson into the mix for some god unknown reason. So this is going to be really interesting. Basically, this whole cast is going to be who's the true GOAT when it comes to professional basketball. Michael Jordan or LeBron James, and I guess Allen Iverson's in there, but
Right.
Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. Now, some background here. The first sports memories I have as a child, the 98 Red Wings and the 98 Bulls. My uncle lived in Chicago. I was real into the Bulls, loved it, loved Michael Jordan, had a Scottie Pippen locker in my bedroom.
I had the Jordan locker because my parents loved me.
Yeah, I chose to put 33 on my locker, all right? But yes, it was just like MJ's locker.
That's like buying an Xbox and not getting Halo, Kevin.
But big Michael Jordan fan, big Bulls fan. Earliest sports memory as a kid is with the GOAT. Justin, when we were in grade school, junior high, became a bandwagon Heat fan. So when Shaq came to the Heat, he jumped onto the Heat train and was always a big LeBron fan. And then LeBron joins the Heat later on. Justin loves LeBron even more. And Justin continually argues that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player that's ever lived. So that's the background between the two of us. MJ, as the moderator, I'm going to let you lead questions, lead whatever you want to ask. You're in charge of this whole debate here. The floor is yours.
Before he begins that, though,
yes,
my first basketball memory involves Michael Jordan. However, it was the famous rookie Allen Iverson crossing him over. It was my first legit basketball memory, which is why Allen Iverson.
Get out of here!
There we go.
One move.
That's all. But he crossed them over, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
All right. In his defense, AI crossed everybody over.
Well, it's been a great cast, guys. We settled that. Allen Iverson, greatest of all time.
All right, MJ, take it away.
All right. So first, I've seen it being talked about, obviously, on different sports networks because there's truly nothing to talk about anymore.
And that documentary is coming out Sunday.
Yes, we need sports back. That's a definite. We need sports back. They are really grasping at straws now.
Yeah.
This would never happen if sports were back.
It would never happen. But here's my whole thing. Being the moderator, I truly have no horse in this race. I love both players. I don't know how to answer the question because if you bring in, if we're going to measure it this way, it's Michael Jordan. If we're going to measure it this way, it's LeBron James. And there's so many things you can throw into the mix. But let's start with overall play. Let's exclude championships, playoffs. Let's focus on the regular season first.
All right.
Just start stat-wise, who controlled the floor better, who made their teammates around them better, anything you want to go in that particular direction. We're going to exclude the playoffs and championships to start.
Go ahead, Justin. I yield to you first, buddy.
Well, I'd say play-wise, it depends what you want on the floor. Like, I think LeBron averages for his career 2 points or like 2.5 points less than Michael Jordan did for his career. So Jordan has him in points. LeBron has Jordan by like an assist per game and rebound per game or two per year. Over his career, Jordan has LeBron in steals. LeBron has Jordan in blocks. So I feel like stats-wise, relatively similar. It just depends what you want. I think both were great offensively in different ways. Both were great defenders. until these last like few years where LeBron has taken full years off of defense. full years off of defense. But leading up to the past like 2 years, pretty elite defensively. But I would just say that it comes down to overall, I think LeBron makes his teammates better. Nice grass random. That just shocked me for some reason. I don't know why. But no, I think that if you're looking for a scorer that's going to play great defense, then you want Jordan. If you're looking for someone that's going to be able to score and make their teammates better, including some real Garbo teammates. And you want to talk about Garbo teammates, we're talking Mo Williams, Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, who's not in the league anymore. We've got some players that are just ridiculously poor that LeBron carried to finals, not just first-round bumps, until he got his big three back. But, yeah, so I think I don't know who I would go with. I think it's almost a push in like regular season play.
For a person that makes their team better, it's quite obviously Michael Jordan. Let's just be really clear here. I'm not talking based on stats, all right? I'm talking based on competitive drive here. There is not a singular athlete that has ever lived that matches the competitive drive and energy that Michael Jordan brought to a team. You'll see this in this docuseries that comes out Sunday. Watch old clips of him at practices. Watch old clips of him with teammates. Was he really, really in their face?
A bad teammate? Yes.
Dude, Kobe Bryant was the exact same way. Kobe Bryant said, my leadership came from Michael Jordan and how he ran the floor with his team. And it was pretty darn successful with the Lakers as well. So if you're talking about a guy that's competitive and that's going to give his team an edge to win, it's Michael Jordan. And you want to talk about bad teams? Look at the 1984 Bulls, the 85 Bulls, 86 Bulls. They had nobody.
Did they go to finals?
They had Dave Corzine. No, because they played better teams in the Eastern Conference playoffs than the Cavaliers did that year. Who did the Cavs play in that run? Who did the Cavs play in that Eastern Conference run?
The Lakers, when they were still the Lakers.
Yeah, they played
Eastern.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not the Lakers. The Spurs. No, geez, Celtics. Why?
Celtics, yes.
Celtics. The Celtics.
Celtics were the first
Garnett,
super
Paul
team.
Pierce, and Ray Allen.
First super team.
Yeah, legitimately first super team.
That was
and made a finals. They didn't get bumped in the first round.
That was when LeBron was with the Heat. We're talking like 05.
No, that's why
05.
LeBron went to the Heat. Like in 09, where he didn't make the finals, he would have made the finals, but he couldn't get past the Celtics every single time.
That's right.
And
then when he was with the Cavaliers, he got swept by the Spurs when they made the finals for the first time.
Yeah,
that's another all-star team,
all-time meam.
And
I mean, you have three or four Hall of Famers on that team.
Don't forget about the Mavericks.
Oh yeah, then the Mavericks.
Okay, but I'm specifically I'm specifically talking about their Eastern Conference playoff runs. Yeah. So here's the thing.
We're talking playoffs now?
Well, okay. So regular season, just to wrap that up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, stats-wise, obviously, these guys are neck and neck. I mean, we wouldn't be having this discussion if they weren't. But I think if you're talking about a guy that gives a really big competitive edge to their team, I'm going to lean with someone like Jordan just because of the fire he brought on the court. Like, this guy's whole mantra was just, I'm going to win. I don't care if you love me. I don't care if you like me. I don't go out and do the chalk in the air. I go out and I play basketball and I win. Okay? So that's
But does LeBron not? That implies that LeBron doesn't.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are times where you look at LeBron and you're like, yeah, he didn't really put out. You look at what year was that finals where he played straight trash? He was with the Heat.
Against the Mavs?
Yeah.
Against
the Mavs. When did – I mean, I know this is playoff, but when did Jordan ever just be like, I'm not showing up? In an entire series.
He got routed by the bad boy Pistons.
He showed up.
No, he didn't. They abused
the only
him.
reason – yeah, that's the only – okay, so if a guy's getting smacked to the floor – first of all, you're a moderator. Why do you keep taking Justin's side?
I'll get back to this. I can jump to both sides here.
So my point is the bad boy Pistons – where their entire idea was they created what's called the Jordan rules. Whenever he's in the paint, we're going to throw him into the ground. Okay, that doesn't mean Jordan didn't show up or have competitive he was getting knocked to the
No,
floor. Things
but
that would be
let's
called
not
fouls
pretend
today.
like that same thing doesn't happen to LeBron, and he's the only star in the NBA the past like 10 years that
But
doesn't
I'm
get
not
calls
saying
for
that.
some reason.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that LeBron, from a skill perspective, did not show up in that finals. That has never happened to Michael Jordan.
Yes,
Look at the
in one-
lines.
You're right.
Yeah.
And so it's one finals not showed up to 0, and there's a lot of playoff runs where we've just gotten bounced.
But even in those times where the Bulls got bounced in the first round, look at the stats Jordan put up. The only reason they were competitive was because of him. The only reason. The only time, notice when they got Scottie Pippen, then they finally started to build a team together, but it took a couple years because Pippen wasn't matured yet. He wasn't good yet. He wasn't an
Jordan
all-star
needed
yet.
Pippen to help him get to the finals, and LeBron needed
Of course you need some
Zubacov,
help.
and it's all
Of
good.
course you need some help. Of course you need some help. But
Okay,
hey, all right, go ahead.
let me rephrase the question on the regular season. Who would you rather build a team around to play regular season basketball? Because I'm starting to get on the team that playoff basketball is a whole nother season, and it should be looked at differently. So who would you pick to build a team around between LeBron and Michael Jordan?
Anthony, why don't you answer that?
Regular season, LeBron. Playoffs, Jordan.
Well, regular season, why?
Because, again, LeBron, except LeBron for the majority of his career, always took the approach, I guess you can say, what can I do to ensure that my teammates are ready? And he literally would take – people gave him the I'm going to defer too much option earlier in his career. And from what we've seen, especially now, when he moved back to Cleveland and went, with the Lakers, he consistently tries to see who are going to be those guys that he can lean on when the moments get tough and when it's time. So he's probably one of the greatest facilitators the game has ever seen. Like, if you're talking about facilitation, it's LeBron, hands down.
But how does that I get what you're saying. And yeah, I would never say that Jordan's a better facilitator because he was a better ISO ball player. That was when Jordan really shined, was when he took it into his own hands, right? So, but even from a regular season perspective, and I'll say this too, LeBron James, from a teammate perspective, is probably the guy you want if you want a guy that you're not going to hate off the court. Now, Pippen and Rodman and Jordan, it's not like Jordan didn't have any friends on the team, for sure. But there were moments like when he got in a fist fight with Steve Kerr and when he Jordan's competitive edge totally went over the top at times, no doubt about it. But if I want that dog in the fight that's going to go out there and every night he's going to put up an insane performance and go crazy. Now, a lot of teammates might not like that. In fact, I think it was Stackhouse when Jordan played for the Wizards, and Stackhouse came to Washington and was like, here's an older Michael Jordan. Maybe now it's going to be my team a bit. And it was still a lesser Michael Jordan who they were still letting him run everything. And it pissed Stackhouse off. He was like, really? I can't do anything? Like, this guy's older. He's not performing as well, but I can't do anything. So, yeah, there's definitely some resentment when a player gets that much attention and leeway. But I still think that if I want a guy that's going to go out there every night and be so competitive and even just take the ball into his hands, if I know in the fourth quarter the game's a little close, I'm not going to be ticked if Michael's like, Coach, I got this one. Because I know he can. I know he's going to go out there and do it. So for me, that's why I would go there. But Anthony, to your point, I do agree from a teammate perspective, and Justin said it too. LeBron's going to make his team better as a team because they like him, because they want to do it with him, for him, that kind of thing. Jordan, it's the other way around. Jordan's going to make him better because of his performance and because he lights enough fire under each one of those players. Justin, what do you think?
I'd take, if I'm building a team from scratch, like let's say I got a player, if you say I can have one player for the next 15 years between those two, and straight up, like, don't worry about injuries, don't worry about anything else. This is your star player who's going to play 82 games in the entire season for 15 years. I think I would build around LeBron because I feel like he can do more.
Like
I
what?
think
What can he do more?
I think that I just think, like Anthony said, I think he's a better facilitator. I think he can still score. That's the crazy part. We have this discussion. He has like 2,000 more points than Jordan had in his career, and he's not a scorer. Like he's more of a Magic Johnson than he is a Michael Jordan. Kobe
Jordan
Bryant
also
was
didn't
more
play as long of a career as he.
No, I mean, he's played, 3 more years already or something
Yeah.
like that? 2 more
Yeah.
years. 2 more
Yeah.
years. But plus Jordan missed like a couple years in his prime because he got
Right,
suspended,
baseball
but then
and
he
stuff,
pretended to
yeah.
retire. But because he got suspended for gambling, but then actually just then pretended to
subtle
retire
dig.
for 2 years.
There's the
Oh no,
subtle
I
digs.
caught it. I caught it.
Got suspended for gambling, and then
Blowing
was like,
right past it.
and then the NBA is like, oh, well, I mean, we don't want to, take this hit, so we're just going to say you retired for 2 years. You can come back then after that. But anyway, no, what I'm actually saying it though is like, I think that when you look at all around, he's Magic Johnson but can score. Magic Johnson wasn't a scorer.
Yeah, but if I'm talking about a pure scorer, LeBron doesn't come close to Michael
But
Jordan.
I don't need a
He
pure
doesn't
scorer.
he didn't need to be.
If
Right,
LeBron can be my scorer, my facilitator, my rebounder, my literal everything, which he was on an Eric Snow team that he brought to the finals with Zydrunas Ilgauskas, what he was on the team that he almost took to the finals that lost Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. Like,
MJ, I hope you don't mind if we get into this now because, okay, earlier today, Justin was bringing up a ton about this whole 06 Cavs that LeBron brought to the finals. Yeah, that team was straight up garbage. Props to LeBron. Obviously not an easy thing to do.
Not as
Let's
garbage
not forget
as the
something.
01 Sixers.
Allen Iverson took arguably a worse 2001 Sixers team and took a game against the insanely good Lakers. So I'm not about to say that LeBron is this magic man. I'm going to also say the argument of sometimes teams get hot at the right times, not just dependent on one player.
I feel like that would make sense if it hadn't have happened multiple times with LeBron, though. Like, wherever he goes, they go from being the worst team in the league to being the best team.
That was the
but I'm
only
saying
finals team that was legit trash that he took.
that 15.
Kev, I would
15.
say no. It was the year after they won. The year after they won in 16 when they won.
Right.
Yeah.
17 is when
Oh,
Kyrie left, right? That team should have no business being in the finals.
Yeah, but I don't think they were as bad is what I'm saying. I think that team is like, okay, that's a shock they're there, but it's not like, oh my God, how is this team here? I think the 06 team was.
No, that team was worse than the 06. You could argue that 17 Cavs was just as bad as the 01. The 01.
Well, Anthony,
Sixers.
let me ask you this, because, I mean, the 01 Sixers, that was your team when we were kids. Like, do you think that team was worse? Do you think AI deserves more props than LeBron for taking those teams? Or do you think it was more team-based, like a team getting hot at the right time? We see it in other sports all the time.
Oh, no, that was – no. I mean, I think Allen Iverson should get a ton more credit for that. I mean, I think he already gets a lot of credit for that. I mean, the whole mantra of that team was literally AI is going to take – he's going to go 24 for 78 from the floor.
Right.
Kimbe's gonna grab 25 rebounds a game, and hope.
AI, shoot the ball 100 times. We're gonna hope 30 go in, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah. So I mean, no. I think, yeah. I really do think that the 17 Cavs were just as bad as the 01 Sixers.
Okay, so to ask this question, again, I want to subtract finals from it right now because that's usually what most people go with, the 6-0
Save
and
that
the
for
finals.
Yeah.
What makes it hard comparing the two now is what LeBron's doing in year 17 at his age.
Sure.
So the longevity of his career is going to start to inflate numbers, is going to start to push up percentages and stuff like that. I mean, some percentages are going down. Why the man can't shoot a free throw, I'll never ever understand. He would have 10,000 more points. I'm gonna go as far as that. But I feel like I already know the answer to this. I want to hear Justin's take. So on kind of the opposite side of building a team, I personally think around building a team, what makes LeBron special is he honestly the Magic Johnson, he could play all 5 positions. The ability to see the floor. Jordan, and this is where I think Jordan, I personally think takes an advantage, but I want to hear you guys. when there's a minute left in the basketball game, the clutch gene, the take over the game gene, we're not going to lose because of me gene. Who do you think has that? Anthony, we'll start with you since you're kind of a neutral party in this.
I mean, you could for the majority, for the most of the time, it's going to be Jordan. Although I think LeBron has started to show that in this career, and I honestly, it's kind of sad that sports has ended with what's happening in today's world, because LeBron was really showing that this year. But I think the minute left in the game, who you want to have the ball is going to go to Jordan. But I think LeBron was turned that corner and was really starting to show that. But again, I think you have to kind of put it all in a vacuum, because again, LeBron's played 3 more years or 2 more years more than MJ, and is still looking to play another 2 to 3 more years.
Yeah, I think that's the part that's really thrown this argument off now. But Kevin, I feel I know your answer, but I'll ask.
Yeah, it's Jordan, but it's because of the clutch gene. It's because, and this goes across. I mean, this is more than just in basketball. You look at Michael Jordan as one of the most clutch athletes of any sport that has ever lived. This was a guy you could trust in any situation to pull through. Like the shots that he made, the buzzer beaters that he made in clutch games. I mean, some of those shots are just absolutely ridiculous. The way he would go into the huddle and be like, "Coach, I got it. Give me the ball." And he would just go out and do it. I mean, I agree, Anthony, LeBron has grown in that, but that's not LeBron's MO whatsoever. He's a facilitator, and that's what he's going to pass first before shoot, even in a clutch moment, I think. And I think that can be dangerous. I mean, look at Kyrie took that last shot. It wasn't LeBron. It's one of those, like, Michael is the guy that wants the ball. I'm not saying LeBron doesn't always not want the ball, but Michael always wants the ball. So, Justin?
This is where I think my frustration with Jordan fans come in. Because Jordan played in an era where we didn't have social media. So I think that that's a big factor in the fact that we look at Jordan, we look at Gretzky, we look at a lot of these players that were like, will never be topped ever, with a little more of a...
Gordie Howe was better than Gretzky. I can top that already.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you there. But we look at these players with more of a, I think, awe factor than what they actually were. And the stats actually show in the postseason that Jordan, in clutch moments, so in like last second shots, was 5 for 11. It's good, 45% from the field with 3 buzzer beaters. That's solid. LeBron, same thing, playoffs, 7 for 15, 46%, 5 buzzer beaters. They're neck and neck in reality. We like to think of Jordan as this ultimate clutch player because we didn't have social media when he was missing clutch shots that he took. Maybe he took more. I don't know. I mean, according to the
there's
stats,
still highlights out there.
5 for 11 last second in postseason.
There's still plenty of highlights there, though.
Oh, okay. But they're neck and neck is what I'm saying. Like
playoffs,
we look at LeBron as like, oh, he doesn't want to touch the ball in crunch time. He can't hit a clutch shot. But like the stats show that he's actually like 1% more clutch. He's actually, and like if you look at their postseason stats, LeBron has better field goal percentage, better rebounds, better assists, not better points per game because Jordan had more points per game. But that's like, I feel like we look at Jordan as this ultimate playoff superstar hero when in reality he was as good as LeBron is in the clutch and he was as good as LeBron was in the playoffs. Like that's what the stats show.
And I want to go off, Kevin, your point about Jordan always wanting the ball in his hands. We also have to look at the style. Like you started to allude to this a little bit, Justin, about the style of gameplay at the time. Like Jordan's way of playing right now, as we've seen with, to a lesser extent, players like James Harden and Russell Westbrook, that they need the ball in their hands the whole time in order to function, isn't working. in the NBA now. You know, you have to move the ball, you have to pass the ball, you have to facilitate and you know, swing and a look for the open shot. You know, you get one-on-one basketball isn't working to win a championship, where back then that's one-on-one basketball was the way to go. That's how they played. So
I'm not entirely sure that's 100% true. I mean,
it was one-on-one, feed the post, triangle basketball.
Sure, but I'm saying in the fact that LeBron's never had to play in that kind of a style. I think he has.
He has, but
that's what screwed him in that 2011 finals. Him and Wade were literally just handing the ball off to each other, taking turns, and just going one-on-one and getting stuffed every time.
Well, let's get into the playoffs, MJ, if you don't mind. So Justin's big argument before championships has always been the first round bounces of the early Chicago Michael Jordan Bulls compared to the less amount of times that LeBron would lose before the finals. And then my argument was always, well, 6 times Jordan gets to the finals, he doesn't lose once. So we're kind of been playing off that argument for a while, but MJ, what do you think? You want to?
I'd actually like to go off that argument and throw one more into there. I just did some looking for myself, but I mean, I'll let you guys dive into it. The quality of teams they each played is drastically different in the finals. And I will leave it at that. I'm not picking a side. I'm not saying whose is whose.
But I know what you're saying.
No. I mean, Kevin, I mean, I'm sorry, the Dallas Maverick team that they lost to, I think you put that Dallas Mavericks against Portland, who the Bulls beat, or a Utah Jazz. I think the Jazz or Portland beat that Mavs team. I do. I mean, Karl Malone, John Stockton against some of the NBA teams today, they would punish them. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. The way and that was a team that moved the ball, even though Malone was a dominant player when it came to scoring, and they played defense. They all played defense. That was the big thing too. So I would also bring that into effect too. You know, of some of the, I think a good way to look at this may be, you take Michael Jordan's first round exits, or the time he didn't make the championships. Look at the teams he was playing. They were very, very top teams. I mean, each of those teams had at least 3 Hall of Famers. Some had 3 top 50 players. And you could maybe say the same thing for the teams LeBron has lost to in the championships, looking at some of those teams. So I'd like to see that comparison, what you guys have to think there. Yeah. I mean, it's just how you look at it. I mean, Kev, I agree with your argument on the, you know, once he got to the finals, he wasn't losing, period.
Right. So and you know this, so as I'm looking at these logs here, the first time that they got bounced in the first round was against the 85 Bucks. That team was not that great. I'll be 100% honest. The 85 Bucks. He had Sidney Moncrief. It was a rookie year. That's his. Oh, sorry, third year. You're right, third year. That's his first time in the playoffs. And 86, they played Boston. Okay. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, like you've got
and Parrish. Yeah, that's 3 top 50 players.
87 playoffs, Boston again.
Yep.
Got swept both times. And the thing is, on those 2 losses, those 3 losses, that Bulls team was not very good. I mean, they had Michael Jordan, and they tried to be like, this kid, we're going to give him the keys to the kingdom early. They did not really have anyone else. I mean, they added John Paxson later, who could shoot the 3 sometimes. But other than that, it was like Corazine and all these random guys that could never put it together without a Michael Jordan. 88, they played Cleveland. Now, this was another and it was a closer series. And they ended up winning and getting on to face the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons in the 88 second round, who they lost to. Pretty sure we can say that's a great team. That team dominated the late 80s just with their style of play and the fact that they could just punish every team physically. 89, they beat Cleveland. They beat the Knicks. And then they get, again, to the Bad Boy Pistons and cannot get over the hump again. 1990. Beat Milwaukee, beat Philadelphia. Was Barkley on that Philadelphia squad? 90?
1990, yes.
And then the Bad Boy Pistons again end up taking them 7 games and losing. And then finally in 91, that's when they break through and get to the finals and beat the Lakers. So from those teams that bounced them before making the finals, I think there's only one team that's not great, and that's Milwaukee. So, I mean, if you really look at the teams that Michael Jordan played on in those early years that weren't very good, like, yeah, they probably still shouldn't have lost to Milwaukee, but they, of course, were going to get swept by the Celtics. They, of course, were going to get beat by the Pistons. And if you notice, each year from 88 to 90 leading up, they got better against the Pistons. So they started to figure out how to play them. They started adding better players. Pippen started to mature. But it was like, you know, they started to figure out these guys as a team. So I don't think that first round bounce argument should really come into play here for those reasons. What do you think about that, Justin?
I mean, I think you can still. I feel like, I don't know. I agree that there are teams that he played against. Bad Boy Pistons, fine. Like, I'll give you that. I don't think that they're world beaters, but I don't think they're terrible. Like, I think they're a good team. And I think
they were
they're
absolutely
a worthy
world beaters at that time.
I think they're a team worth like losing to. You can't really blame a young Jordan-led group for losing to them. But I think
Or
Milwaukee,
Boston.
I think the Cavs that you mentioned.
Well, we
like-
didn't lose to the Cavs. We beat the Cavs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that you can get through if you look at LeBron's seasons that he went through, especially 2000. I'm trying to find. I know his first playoffs was 2006.
Right. Second year, right? No,
Second year.
Third year?
Third year.
Third year, right? Yeah, because
Came back.
2003
Yeah.
would have been. Yeah, 2003 was drafted.
MJ, what the hell?
And they lost in the second round to the Pistons, the Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton.
MJ's team.
Pistons.
That was the year that 4 of our starters were the starting 4 on the All-Star team.
Yeah. And
Good
then
days.
But remember,
good days.
Ben Wallace wasn't good, according to Justin.
but then the next year 4, they made it all the way to the finals. So they beat the Pistons in 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals,
That's
and
when
then
we
got
lost Chauncey
swept by
Billups.
the Spurs in the finals.
I love how
Like-
MJ is silently in contempt over all of this. He's like, no, that's when we lost Chauncey Billups in the finals.
But
Downfall.
I think when you look at that, so they get swept by the Spurs in the finals. That's peak Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony
Well,
Parker.
yeah. So let's talk about when both these guys get to the finals. Then, so let's take it their first finals by first finals here.
Hold on. But the Eastern Conference, though, like you can still argue though that the Eastern Conference teams that Jordan had to go through, the journey to get to the finals, was much more challenging
Yeah.
for Jordan than LeBron. Like the Eastern Conference.
See,
was
I
a
don't know.
joke.
I don't know
I
about
don't
that.
know.
'Cause I'm looking at
Other than the
at,
Celtics,
After besides the Pistons, like what team in the Eastern Conference besides the Pistons and the Cavaliers were actually good?
when for LeBron.
Yeah, you had the 40 and
Well, I'm looking
46ers
at-
with the 4th seed. You had literally outside of the top 3 teams, 4 through 8 were sub 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at 2007, and I'm looking at Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Perk. So like that's a team that they lost in 7-2. Like these
Right.
teams,
No,
literally,
that was definitely a tough team.
yeah. And then I mean, all those Bulls teams, as much as I hate to say it, they weren't that good. Never mind. I'm not even going to give it to them. I refuse to
What?
give it to them. The Bulls teams
What?
that were apparently really good from 2010, 11, 12 that we would always meet in the Eastern Conference Finals and then bend in 5 games
Oh my
because Derrick
God.
Rose wasn't a true MVP.
He
But,
wasn't.
But 09, we played the Magic, and that team was so stacked. They had Dwight Howard when he was good, and all the 3-point. They were like the
So let's take this finals by finals here.
Warriors.
First, MJ just keeps rotating through these. First finals that Jordan was in was the 1991 finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. They had a guy named Magic Johnson on that team. Oh, my God. You're absolutely killing me here.
Didn't Magic have AIDS at that point or very
Oh,
close
boy.
to it?
Oh boy.
Did he or didn't he? That's a real question, actually. I wasn't sure what he.
Who was on the rest of that team?
I'm looking it up.
The Lakers?
Yeah, the 91 Lakers.
Wasn't that the last year that Kareem was on?
So you had
Or retired?
James Worthy. Yeah, James Worthy. You had Vlade Divac. You had Magic Johnson, Sam Perkins, Byron Scott. They had some players.
Is Kareem still playing?
No.
No.
He was done. Michael Thompson. Yeah. No, that was a really good team that they faced. But I think what pushed them to win that first one was the fact that they finally got over the bad boy Pistons. Like, that was their nemesis for years. And once they got past them, I think they realized, yeah, we can beat these guys. And they only lost one game in that series. So dominant first finals win for MJ. What was the first finals win the first finals appearance? Not win, appearance for LeBron. 06,
First
right?
finals appearance for LeBron was 2007, so fourth
right.
year, against the San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker.
That's a top 10 finals team.
That's a
Top
dynasty
10
team.
finals
Yeah,
team.
that's it. That's what
Little-
we all agree there.
With one
but-
of the greatest coaches to ever coach in basketball.
Always.
And what we also need to talk about is we had Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker lining up against, and we'll go back and just see what team we had here in the finals. We'll see how we got here. Wrong team. It's clicking on the wrong button. It's a decent team led by LeBron James, Larry Hughes, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. We got Daniel Booby Gibson. Ringing any bells? Damon Jones, Danielle Marshall.
I remember Damon Jones.
Drew Gooden.
He
Don't worry about Drew Gooden.
Oh, wait, Justin, isn't that? Oh no, that's the Celtics finals. Never mind, we'll get to that.
Yeah. He took pure trash, and then they got absolutely booty smacked. I mean, they didn't lose by that. They lost by a combined. They lost by 9 game 1, 11 game 2, 3 and 1. So like they didn't
got
lose
swept,
that
yeah,
bad.
right? Didn't they?
They
Yeah.
got swept. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and you know what? And again, I'm not holding that first finals against LeBron. I really don't. As far as I'm concerned, you can cross that out of his loss column. Like, that was so not on him that occurred. I'm totally with you there. But let's just be clear here.
It happened.
Jordan won, and LeBron lost. All right, 92.
What did Jordan average in that finals?
Let's see.
Because I have LeBron at age 22 in that finals, averaging 27, 6 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals.
I don't have the totals.
Shot 47%.
But he was averaging over 30.
Fair.
So in all games he scored in the finals 36, 33, 29, 28, 30.
Yeah,
So,
that's over 30. That's over 27.
He did well. Okay, so second finals.
That's year like 8 though for LeBron.
You mean Jordan?
I mean, for Jordan, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So 92, Jordan's second run at the finals, they play Portland. I think this Portland team was very good. I do think that the LA team was better. But let's take a look at who was on this Portland team.
Clyde
the Glide Drexler for sure. You had an older Danny Ainge, Terry Porter, who was a boss, Jerome Kersey, Kevin Duckworth, 7-foot center. So they had some good players, but it wasn't what they faced against Los Angeles. So as far as this one goes, still a tough one, but not as tough as Los Angeles. And they won 4 games out of 6. So, and Jordan averaged, Jordan crushed in this one, 39, 39, 26, 32, 46, 33. So he dominated in this second finals. So getting better in his next finals and is now 2 for 2. Justin, the second finals LeBron was in. Go.
This one would be the 2011 first year of the Heat. Was what was supposed to be the dynasty.
Right.
And
South Beach.
So LeBron previously loses to the Celtics, and I think 7 the year before. They come back, finally get over the hump, beat the Celtics, make it to the finals, and face a wily Dallas Mavericks team.
Wiley. Wiley.
And
Scrappy.
They take the first 2 games against the Mavs and then lose the subsequent 4. Actually, no, it's not true. They won game 1 and 3. Yeah, that's right. They won game 1 and 3. Dirk actually beat the Heat in game 2 on a buzzer beater off the bat, that back left foot Dirk fadeaway that he always did. Yeah, no. So the Mavs take us in. Mavs take us in 6. Actually, there's a good interview with Chris Bosh. I'm trying to remember where I saw it, where he explains how they lost that Mavs series. He gave a lot more credit to the Mavs than I thought should have been given to the Mavs. With some of the stuff they were doing defensively, I guess. They literally just watched basically what he said was they watched the entire season where the Heat's main offense was Spoelstra just being like, all right, does LeBron or Wade want the ball this time down the floor? And then they just ISO'd. So then the Mavs just ran like half a zone and were like, shoot, I guess, if you want, or try to drive into Tyson Chandler. And they tried and they failed. So I don't think the Mavs team was terrible, but I don't think it was a good finals team. It was a finals they should have won and they lost.
Yeah, and Dirk was just playing unreal.
Dirk was ridiculous. Which is annoying because the fact I don't understand how he was good. Because when you watch him, there's no reason he should be good.
I like that one.
Oh, come on.
He had the crying Jordan on. No, I agree. But stats show 2 for 2, 0 for 2.
I think I would give the first edge.
No, yeah,
to
I
LeBron.
would give.
Yeah, so it's 1-1
it's
right
like
now.
point
2-1, my
point
friend.
half.
2-1.
Yeah.
Okay, so in '93, to complete the first three-peat, the Bulls beat the Phoenix Suns. This team was good, also not lighting up the world here, but a good team. You had Charles Barkley, who was killing it that year. Danny Ainge again. So back-to-back years on different teams, Danny Ainge loses in the finals. You had Dan Majerle. You had Kurt Rambis.
Kurt Rambis.
Yeah, Kurt Rambis, dude.
So no one. Okay.
They had some players. They had Charles Barkley. But yeah, it absolutely wasn't the tough team to beat. And they kind of showed that because Jordan drilled these guys. 31, 42, 44, 55, 41, and 33. He didn't have one game under 30. He destroyed yet again. And if you notice a trend here, each finals win, his scoring got higher. Coincidence? Jordan, really good. All right. So 3 for 3, Justin. Third finals for LeBron, please.
Wow, Jordan managed to score a lot of points against a trash team that shouldn't have been in the finals. So our third finals here that we have is the Heat beating the Thunder 4-1 in the finals. Thunder team led by Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, all 3 MVPs later in their career. Serge Ibaka, Kendrick Perkins, Derek Fisher. Really good team, and it was supposed to be a apparent battle for like the next 7 or 8 years, but then the Spurs had something to say about that later. But yeah, so a very, very good Thunder team that the Heat were actually not favored to beat, and they beat them.
All right, so LeBron gets his first win after
against arguably a better team than him.
That Thunder team would have slaughtered that Phoenix Sun team.
Oh, no doubt about it. That I totally agree with. But Justin, you're also not giving us the points. I want the points that LeBron had.
Oh, the points.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if the points really matter because I don't think that's really the. But let me go back to it. Let me see. That was a horrid noise, Justin. Gotta find friggin'. Oops, I almost dropped a hard F.
Uncle Buck.
30, 32, 29, 26, 26.
All right, so solid series.
Yep. But what we need to focus on is 39 and 8, 29, 14 and 9, 26, 12, and 9, 26, 13, and 11.
Yeah.
He's getting triple doubles or near every game.
So in 95, the Bulls got bounced in the second round by the Orlando Magic, who I still say today, if Penny would have never gotten hurt and Shaq stayed there, that team would have won a ton of championships. Very, very, very good team. Not embarrassed at all that we lost to them. 96, Michael gets back into the finals to start the last three-peat here. This one, they play the Seattle Supersonics, in which Jordan went 28, 29, 36, 23, 26, 22. Not his best, but still good enough to win. So Seattle, they had a pretty doggone good team. You had Frank Brakowski, who was a big dominant center. You had Hersey Hawkins, who could score. Sean Kemp, who was a beast. You had Gary Payton, Sam Perkins, Detlef Schrempf.
What a sweet name.
Eric Snow. Yeah, I mean, that team was so good. This was the second best team, well, third best team that they played in the finals. I would arguably say it was the Jazz, then the Magic, and then the Sonics. Not the Magic, the Lakers, and then the Sonics. Also love it, MJ. Give them Steve Buscemi crazy eyes. So, yeah, really tough team to play. And, again, and Jordan's coming out of this loss in 95 and coming in and takes on Seattle and wins. So 3 for 3.
All right.
Wait.
LeBron coming off of the Thunder championship. They go. They beat Milwaukee in the first round. Chicago again in the second round because they're trash. Indiana in the third round, starting a very tough playoff kind of battle with the Pacers every year.
Yes, that was a very good one.
Those series were always so good.
And if I may, I know you like to trash on those Bulls teams, and I understand why. I'm not going to argue it. I'm just saying, after Michael left when I was like 7 years old, it was really hard for me until we actually got a somewhat decent team to field.
Oh, Kevin, let's not forget the stud in Ben Gordon that you had.
We did, but poor Ben Gordon had no one else around him except what, Ron Mercer? Mercer?
So he's exactly Zach LaVine right now.
I know, it makes me sad. Continue.
LaVine's good.
LaVine's so good.
So, and then they play the Spurs in the finals. Again, now this is, what is this, 7 years later from the first time LeBron faced the Spurs. This Spurs team, pretty familiar faces, Tim Duncan, Manu, but now Kawhi Leonard.
Who was a defensive stud.
Tony Parker. Have you seen that funny, Danny Green, that funny video of, it says never forget when LeBron did this when he saw Kawhi come back in, and there was like LeBron's at the free throw line and he hits the first free throw and he hears the horn go off and he turns around to look who's coming in the game, and it's Kawhi, and the camera pans back to LeBron and he's like, just drops an F-bomb, just like, come on. They did not want to play against Kawhi there. But the Heat win in 7 games in this series in 2013. This was the game series they were about to lose. Then that rebound, Bosh kicked out to Ray Allen, and they hit the 3 to tie.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this series, LeBron, let's see, 18, 18, and 10, 17, 7, and 8, 15, 11, and 5. He didn't have like great, crazy.
It's 25, 10, 7, and 2.
Yeah.
That's what I got it.
Oh, like overall?
Yep, average 25,
So
10, 7,
almost
and 2.
another triple-double.
Almost another triple-double, yeah. But most importantly, Game 6, so they were down 3-2. Game 6, 32, 11, and 10. Game 7, 37, and 12. So had his 2 best games at the end in elimination games.
In 97, the Bulls took on the Utah Jazz for the first time. They would see them again in 98. Anthony and I have talked about this a ton, and I want to get his take on it too. This Utah Jazz team, if these Bulls didn't exist, would have 2 championships, if not more. This team was so freaking good. You've got – are you kidding me? You have Jeff Hornacek. You've got Karl Malone. You've got Byron Russell, John Stockton, You got my boy Greg Ostertag at center. No, I just like that name. He was terrible.
I was going to say, what?
Howard Isley, Greg Foster. I mean, this team had some guys on here that could really make things happen. Not to mention, John Stockton was one of the best point guards during that era, and for good reason. So when you take a look at
– What do you mean during that era? He was one of the best point guards ever played in the
exactly.
He's one of the best point
But I'm just trying to focus on the 90s. But, like, this team was absolutely stacked, and the Bulls had their hands full for sure, but we start to see a resurgence in Jordan's production with 31, 38, 26, 22, 38, and 39. He had 10 rebounds in the one, 13 in the other. So, I mean, he started to put up even better, a couple double-doubles as well.
He started to be a complete player. Great
He didn't need to be, was the point. When you can
Exactly.
score that much,
That
you didn't
is
need
the
to
point.
be.
That's
You didn't
the
need
point.
to be. No,
You're
and
right.
we're
That is
gonna
the point.
talk about
He
teams
didn't
here.
need to be.
When we get through these, we're gonna talk about teams. So go ahead, Justin. Next finals for the
All right, let's speed this thing up. So where am I? Oops, I scrolled past the one that he lost here. So 15 Spurs win in 5, coming back off that brutal loss they took in the previous season. Again, no fault of LeBron's 25, 35, 22, 28, 31. Like, played about as good as you can play. The Heat. This is where we started to see the decline of Dwayne Wade. LeBron put the team on his back for the entire playoffs. Really,
Wasn't Wade hurt too?
yeah. Wade was hurt half the playoffs,
And that was Kawhi Leonard's coming out party, basically.
yeah. And I mean, they weren't even close.
What do you
really.
mean, coming out to be even more quiet than he already was?
The Heat lost by 15, 19, 21, and 17. So they got absolutely just housed by the Spurs team.
The finals that MJ was in '98, which is what this docuseries is about, The Last Dance, and the first team that I ever really remembered any memories
Kev,
of.
that docuseries is just about the '98 season?
Yeah, it's called The Last Dance.
How is there 10 parts?
Because that was an insane season. All the
How is there
intrigue in
10
it.
parts?
Well, you'll find out.
Oh,
So
my.
Boy, just on a razor blade.
so they play Utah, beat them again. Jordan goes 33, 37, 24, 34, 28, 45 in his last finals appearance ever, and caps off another three-peat. So he's got 2 three-peats, 6 titles, never lost in a finals ever, never really ever came close to losing in a finals, sealing
Who
his
did they play?
dominance. Jazz again. They beat the Jazz 2 years in a row. So I submit to you that Michael Jordan, out of those 6 appearances, I would say 2 of those teams that they faced were meh. They were good for sure, but they were meh. You know, they weren't world beaters like Utah and Seattle and the Lakers, but they were good. They were solid teams. But no matter what, Jordan showed up. The teams won. Justin, finish up with LeBron here, and then we're going to talk about teams before we get out of here.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to finish up with LeBron, and it's going to be a little bit because he actually made more finals than Jordan did. So
You only had to play on more teams, you know.
The 2000, that's not the reason. 2015 Golden State Warriors team. This is the team that it was before Super Team, so it was just Steph, Clay,
And Draymond.
Iguodala. I mean, now still, what did they win? They were 67 and 15. They were pretty much, this is where kind of the NBA started to turn here to a 3-point shooting barrage. And where am I at? There's so many Golden State Warriors teams. There we go. This finals, specifically, the Cavaliers lost in 6. LeBron had 44, 39, 40, 20, 40, 32. So, I mean, again, and his team was this 15 team. Now, technically, it was LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, and then a bunch of misfits. But what it actually was LeBron because Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt. So he actually was just playing by himself in that series. And they almost won. Lost in 6. Oh wait, it's not your turn because Jordan doesn't have any more finals. So 2016,
Here it is.
the Cavs come back.
Kevin, he's been waiting for that moment all conversation.
I have.
I mean, maybe if LeBron didn't lose a bunch of them, he'd be at least close to Jordan's numbers at this point.
yeah.
I actually have one final question after we get done with this.
Yeah,
Sure.
Again, that's a good part of Jordan getting rewarded for not making finals. You can't lose them if you don't make them. So 2016, this team was the actual greatest team of all time, 73-9. Ended up adding, this year
That was prior. They didn't add that now.
prior to Kevin Love or
Are you eating
Kevin
yogurt?
Durant.
So 73-9
Ice
team,
cream.
best team of all time, and the Cavs end up beating the best team of all time in 7. Had no reason to beat them. It would have been like the Sonics beating the Bulls.
That
or
was
something
LeBron's
like
career shining moment. I would say that.
that. It was.
I would say that.
Well, according
And
to him,
again-
Kevin, that's when he became the GOAT.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
again,
I'm sure it was.
Exactly, because in crunch time, again, we're looking at game 5, 6, and 7. The
Who scored that winner?
Cavs were down 3-1.
Kyrie
Cavs were
did.
down 3-1.
Who scored that winner?
It was Kyrie.
It was Kyrie Irving, right? Not LeBron James, right?
Off of LeBron assist.
Kyrie.
Yeah,
Oh,
off of LeBron.
LeBron couldn't shoot the ball himself. Had to dish it off to someone
No,
else
but
to
I
make
mean,
the shot.
I think
He's
that's
wide
what-
open.
Again, and
Oh,
I think can we not-
poor LeBron. Oh, he can't take the shot in crunch time. Blah 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 blah.
Showing the education level of Jordan. Anyway, but
I'm
no,
getting
I
a
think
doctorate.
I think again what we talked about was that the big shot thing actually doesn't make sense because statistically LeBron was 1% better in the clutch than Jordan.
Not to mention
But-
Jordan did dish to Paxson that one time. So
and Kerr. But the last 3 games of that series, when the Cavs were down 3-1, LeBron put in a 41-16-7, a 41-11-8, a 27-11-11 in the win. All 3 wins. They beat the best team of all time. 2017 playoffs, they lose in 5 to the same Golden State Warriors team. Oh, wait, it's not the same Golden State Warriors team because the best team of all time then added the best player in the NBA at the time, other than LeBron, Kevin Durant, to that team. Not really going to beat that team. How are you supposed to?
by playing
And
like
then-
a champion.
Yes, Jordan would.
The Jordan Bulls will not beat that
The
team.
Jordan Bulls wouldn't have beat that team.
But-
They might have
but,
taken a
yeah,
game or two.
The 95 Bulls, I think you could stack them up against there.
But the thing is,
No.
that's the
No, you
but-
can't.
no,
I
but
didn't say they'd win. I said you could stack
No,
them up
but
against
Kevin,
Kevin,
I
they have
agree.
nobody to guard Kevin
No.
Durant.
No, I agree. The 95
In
Bulls
fact,
might have
nobody
been able
still has anybody to guard Kevin
No,
Durant.
I literally agree. I think the 95 Bulls might have been able to beat them, but that's the fact that a team like the 95 Bulls would be needed to beat that type of team when LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love are not the 95 Bulls. So
I agree.
they had no business winning that series and they didn't. 2018 playoffs, again, holy crap, we're just keeping on going here. They get swept by Golden State again because the best team of all time added the best player possibly at the time in the NBA, and they
Yeah,
won.
but even Allen Iverson won a game against the great Lakers in the finals.
Whoa,
They
whoa,
were better
whoa.
than the Lakers. They were
No,
literally
that
better than any
Lakers
team that's
team-
ever played.
That Lakers team is not even close to that Golden State Warriors team.
You added
Hold
a
on.
literal
I wouldn't
MVP.
go that
Time
far.
out.
Yeah, I
Moderator
wouldn't
stepping in. Time out.
No,
Excuse me?
that's such a fact.
I'm not entirely sure about that.
Kevin or Justin,
It's
on the
Shaq and
same
Kobe.
fact. No. On the same fact. Are we saying that the Lakers are not better than that team?
Yeah,
That Lakers team is nowhere near the Golden State Warriors team.
I
Right.
don't-
On the
Kevin
same
Durant.
the same reasoning that nobody can guard Kevin Durant, nobody on Golden State would have been able to guard Shaq. Nobody.
Shaq would be unplayable.
Yeah, that's
Why
what I'm
would he be
saying.
unplayable?
because
You
they
wouldn't be able to
they
play
would
him.
play small and they would just
Yeah, they
like
run
give
the-
Shaq.
They
Give
would
Shaq
run the
2 every
ball.
game.
Yeah, the Shaq would be unplayable against
Give
them.
it, I would. Oh, I almost X'd out of the meeting. I was just trying to X out of my picture. No, yeah, just give Shaq 2 every time. They're gonna hit 3 on him every time.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not. That's what happened against the. That's the reason the
What happened
Cavs were
against the
able to beat
Raptors.
them is because they were able to shut down their 3-point shooting.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
And Shaq's going to get every rebound. Every miss is going in his hands.
Yeah, but Golden State doesn't miss.
Yeah, but then when Golden State fouls out because they keep hacking Shaq, what's the plan then?
I mean, I don't
They're
know if
already gonna
Shaq
be
doesn't
up. They're
foul
gonna
out
be-
either, though.
They're going to be
Are
up.
you,
10
wait, I
points
forgot
already.
that. Wait, my bad. I forgot that other guy they had, Kobe. Hold on.
No, Rick Fox, man.
Wait. So what's Shaq
And Derek
gonna do?
Fisher's 3-point shooting is going to keep them in the game.
What's
Yep.
Shaq gonna
Okay.
do when they put Kevin Durant at the center, and then Shaq has no choice but to choose between guarding Kevin Durant or Draymond Green? Oh wait, Draymond Green can shoot threes too. Oh, so you're gonna pull Shaq all the way out to the perimeter? Oh, that's gonna go.
Draymond
What
Green
happened to
could
Draymond
shoot
Green?
3-pointers in that series. Look at him since then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
we're
He
talking
averages
about
8.
that series, right? We're talking about that team in that series, right? We're
A
switching
young Shaq can stick with Draymond. A young Shaq,
on the
Okay,
perimeter.
But here's the deal.
He was still
So
athletic.
he's going to
yeah.
give him the room.
But
And you
we're
have a
arguing,
7-footer that's then trying to deny your shot.
we're arguing right now of like literal best teams of all time. We're like Shaq and Kobe Lakers, 95 Bulls. Like they could possibly beat the Golden State Warriors. And I'm saying we had LeBron with Kevin Love, who's garbage,
and I'm
worst
not-
star, and so bad he's not a good star, and Kyrie, who could shoot and was a liability on defense. And he played them tough. So I'm saying there's no reason LeBron should have won those finals. There were very few finals that Jordan was in that he had no business winning. And it wasn't because of him that they had business winning. It was the fact their total team was good enough that there was never a time where it was like, hey, these 95 Bulls probably shouldn't beat this team.
In the second three-peat, yes. In the first three-peat, they were not super teams. They absolutely were not.
But not super
See,
teams.
I would
but
argue they were. I would argue.
No, I
the
would
reason
argue they weren't.
Not
But
early.
because the year that Michael Jordan left, they went 55-27.
that's a fact too. You have to look
That's
at that.
not a bad
The fact
team.
they went
If
50.
you
Yeah,
lose your
I'm not-
best player, and
I
get
didn't say they were
55-27.
bad. I said that they weren't a super team. I'm saying in
weren't a-
95 and on, oh my God, Dennis
Right.
Rodman, they're stacked.
So they weren't a super team, but LeBron took a team to the finals, lost, and then when he left, they were literally the first pick the next year.
Sure.
He took a team that was literally basement level to a finals.
Yeah.
Jordan took a team that was a good 3 seed to be a 1 seed to the finals. I think that's the difference that we're looking at.
Okay, but to me, it comes down to the fact that he never lost.
But he never lost because he took a 3
Never
seed, and then you put Jordan on
lost.
it. And
So
took him
final
to the-
question on this topic, and we could do this multiple times. I mean, we could spend an hour just looking at the regular season, an hour just looking at the
That's
playoffs.
true.
But
Let's
Can
not.
you bend
final
down a
que-
little bit so that
final
hat
question.
looks like it's on top of you?
Keep going. A little bit more. A little bit more.
He's
There
gonna
we
flip
go.
his chair.
I'm running out of room. Anyway, hold on. For this last question, I need to be prepared. 1 second. Please hold.
Also, while
Okay.
MJ's doing that, best logo ever. Bulls.
No, the best logo ever is the original Raptors jersey. Are you kidding me?
That is true. That is.
It's fire. Anyway, now final question to wrap this all up.
Why is crying?
If
Jordan?
LeBron is able to win 6 titles,
Mhm.
I know that's a big if. I know a lot of things have to
He
happen.
has 3 or 4.
3 right now.
Three,
If
three,
he is
three.
able to win 6 with the body of work that he will have and the length of career, would anyone concede at that point that Justin, you already think he is. I'm on the fence. But would you concede that he's the best player at that point?
Yes. Greatest ever to live. Absolutely. Easily.
Okay. Anthony?
Easily.
If LeBron gets 6,
And it's still there's not this huge divide between them.
No, I don't think there would be either,
But-
honestly, no.
But I would have to concede it. Because at that point he would have been to so many and then won 6. even with his body of work.
Kevin, he's trying to make an argument for Allen Iverson right now. That's what's going on.
No,
His head.
All right. Yeah, Allen Iverson's the GOAT. We keep forgetting this.
Yeah, I think I would go with LeBron too, but I don't know. I would have to think about it. It's too close.
Because at that point, I'm with Kevin on it. It's not a major league gap,
Right.
but it's
It would
he settles the championship argument. The only argument it would be, oh, he's not undefeated in the championships. But at that point, he would have been to 12.
12, right?
I think it,
So,
I think what also you would need to see. I would need to see. Yes, this championships, but we also, if we're looking at the whole, we have to look at who they play, and assuming things stay the course, like looking at it this year, I think if the Lakers got to the finals, they would beat whoever they played from the Eastern Conference, because I really don't think
we all keep forgetting how good the Bucks are.
Yeah.
Bucks are overrated. They are so overrated. So overrated.
Well,
Giannis
that's
is
coming
so
from
overrated.
a ticked off Sixers fan right there that lost the process.
Yeah, your bum Sixers team.
Yeah.
That bum Sixers team has beaten Milwaukee twice. Yeah, because they're overrated. Oh my God, Giannis is so overrated. He is
Look,
so
Anthony,
overrated.
the Sixers have 3 wins on the road this year or something like that.
Yeah. Giannis is
two of them
overrated?
came against Milwaukee in Milwaukee.
Did
Giannis
play
is
both of those
overrated?
games?
Yes, Giannis is overrated. I'm saying it right now. Giannis is overrated.
Hold on. This requires a serious background. Uno momento.
That's Anthony, but instead of just a cigarette, he's smoking crack.
Third take. But
Giannis is overrated.
let's end this, boys. MJ, you're the moderator. Anthony, you're not in this debate, but I want you guys to give me your answers. As of today, April 16th, who is the greatest of all time?
Right now, it's still Jordan.
It's still Jordan.
Woo!
Kareem.
Bill Russell, if we're gonna be.
If we're going greatest champion of all time, it's
we're
Bill
going
Russell.
chips. It's Bill Russell. But yeah, no, you know what? MJ's right. This argument can take so many layers because we didn't even factor in this whole thing era and the style of play completely on either one. Like
the other thing,
hand checking,
the things that kept coming to my head. First, like LeBron's first 7 years in the league, his coaches had to tell him to look like he got fouled because he was getting hit, but was so strong it didn't look like he got hit.
Yeah, he was a bull in a china shop.
Then you had the other argument that every team he's left has been garbage after he's left, and any team he goes to is immediately a title contender.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then, but again, I think Jordan. If LeBron would have focused more of his career on scoring, I think this is a whole other completely different. Because I think this is another thing that may throw some people off too. One-on-one in their primes, I think LeBron James dominates Michael Jordan in one-on-one.
I think LeBron would be
3 inches taller, 50 pounds heavier, can jump just as high, just as fast, and has just
not as athletic.
Yes, he is.
No,
more.
Not as athletic.
What?
More.
I would say
Jordan was a minor league baseball player. LeBron was going to get drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. Like, legitimately was a D1 prospect for Ohio State.
I mean, on one-on-one,
it doesn't even make sense
because they both shoot threes at about the same rate.
But the thing is,
it's like low 30s.
But Jordan would get in LeBron's head, and he would
I'd agree with that.
Jordan,
best trash talker in the history of the game.
Oh, no, he's not.
Heard it? It's garbage.
No, he's not the best trash talker.
No,
he's not the best trash talker. He worked over so many players with his trash
Larry Bird was the best trash talker.
Sure.
He was the best trash talker.
Larry Bird would tell you what he was going to do and then do it.
I love that.
He never.
Hey, I'm going to go drop another 3.
He never took his warm-ups off when he won the 3-point shot.
When he won the 3-point shot.
So
even Jordan, Jordan on camera.
And it was those tight zip-up sleeve shirts.
Even like that last shot he took, he was like, "That's it," and just turned.
I totally feel that Larry Bird on a spiritual level because every time I play Kevin in 2K, the Larry Bird Celtics say, "I'm going to shoot a 3 here," and because Larry Bird has a 9,000% rating.
Every time I've played Anthony, the lowest Larry Bird points that I've gotten with Anthony is a 97. Highest was 112.
We didn't even talk about the fact that, like, the And we could, go on forever. Like the fact that, like Jordan is the reason his dad died. And
Wow! No, he is not!
And then LeBron didn't know his dad. So it's kind of one of those things. Like, had LeBron known his dad, would he have been the reason that his dad died? We don't know. Also,
What about
other
the ones
point,
West?
how much of a trash bag must you feel like if you're LeBron's dad and you're like, ooh, really messed up on that one.
Really shouldn't have abandoned that one.
Oh, that is every time he tosses that chalk, you're probably like,
I could have money.
$2 million right now. I would have just chilled for a little bit.
But yeah, Jordan's still the GOAT. But again, if LeBron can somehow weasel his way to another 3, we'll see.
I don't know if it'd be weaseling, but okay.
Hey, I'm not going to be nice about it, okay? If it
He
happens,
averaged 28, 8, and 8 last year.
With the way the Eastern Conference is
36.
right now, he definitely can. He just
Before
has
we
to get
go,
past
better player of all time, Pippen or Iverson? Pippen.
Pippen.
Better player of all time, Pippen or Iverson?
Yeah.
All-around player?
Yeah, all around. Pippen.
Yeah.
Better player for the
2 for
league
2.
itself? Allen Iverson.
I think Allen Iverson.
Notice all the
better.
players I argue with were from when I was 6, 7, 8 years old.
Nice.
Because
I think
everyone
Allen
else
Iverson-
has not been good for the rest of my life, except for Ben Gordon, Derrick Rose when he didn't break himself, Luol Deng before spinal tap, and
You're
Zach
forgetting
LaVine.
Kirk Heinrich. You're forgetting Kirk Heinrich.
I do love the White Hope, Kirk Heinrich, for sure.
Dude, Allen Iverson. The Sixers never gave Iverson players to play with.
That is true.
It's
and
because
that's fair.
nobody wants to play with him.
Exactly, but again,
Also
and then
true.
they gave him some semblance of a team, and then it's just horrible coaching, and then they quit, and then they leave, and then they get traded to the Nuggets, and then Sixers get Andre Miller for 3 years, and
Dude, you know it's bad when I was at a Nuggets-Bulls game last year, and they said, we're going to be bringing back Nuggets legends for games throughout the year. And they said, in a month, Allen Iverson. I was like, he's a Nuggets legend? What?
played 2 years with Carmelo.
What? He wasn't a legend in Denver?
How did that team not
MJ,
win
how
this?
large a bowl of ice cream are you eating? You've been
Hold on.
solidly
Hold
going
on.
in. It's the whole thing, isn't it?
No.
He's got a
I-
half gallon.
I wish. No, it's a substantial bowl, bro.
God.
That's like a
Tupperware
mixing
container.
bowl.
Yeah.
This would literally hold half a box of cereal.
What kind of ice cream, by the way, sir?
Heated up apple pie crumb with,
Ooh,
vanilla ice cream.
Oh, attaboy. You're an American. Waffle House hat, apple pie, and vanilla ice cream. You are an
I
American.
spent my Trump check on ice cream.
You got your Trump
$1,200.
check?
I didn't
Yeah,
get mine yet.
I got mine.
My wife got hers. I didn't get mine yet.
See, I thought Kevin
Wait,
would have.
Kev, did you file your taxes together?
We did, but she still got hers separately.
How much are you sure? Make sure she didn't get over a 1,200.
No, she got 1,200. So I
Okay,
got my
'cause
tax
She would have
return.
yours, and she's lying.
I got my tax return which was substantial. Thank you, government. And then I got $1,200
the
for
government. They stole your money.
I
They're
know.
just giving it
I know.
back to you.
I'm well
That's all
aware.
they're doing.
I'm well aware. But I'm trying to put a lipstick on a pig here. But yeah, so she got her $1,200. We got our tax return jointly from the state of Colorado and from the government, the federal government. And then I go into the IRS yesterday because they have this check for my payment thing. And it said, we cannot find a payment with your information. And I was like, what? So I go down and it says bullet points why this might happen. Did you file jointly recently? It might not be in yet. So what would be hilarious is if in a couple days I get $2,400 in our joint account and she still got $1,200 in her account. I'm like, do I give it back?
Don't tell us about that on the next podcast because that's tax fraud. So just keep that one to yourself.
Maybe just
play that
need to
one close to the chest.
Just cut the end of this.
Say it with the chest.
I think they might have withheld my Trump bucks because of all the crap that I've said about him over the years.
Yeah,
I was wondering.
A couple people I've talked to haven't gotten theirs yet either, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw a meme the other day that said not only your president but your sugar daddy.
Well, it depends on what bank do you bank with?
PNC.
So
I just put my money in the walls.
when I filed last year, I still have an account with Members First. And so my
'Cause it
direct
could also
deposit
be-
goes in there.
It
But our
could
joint
just be
account's
the
in
bank.
Chase.
It could also be how long it takes for the IRS.
Oh,
to
you know what, Kevin? I know someone that a couple like that one got it and the other didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come eventually.
Was one of them a raging lib and the other one?
Actually, yes.
Yeah? That was my fear. That was my fear. I was like, there's a lot of 2017 posts from Lib Justin.
Lib Justin.
That hopefully he didn't look too far back into. Like, look at my most recent ones.
Lib Justin. Oh God.
All right.
You guys
Well, boys,
doing
this was fun. What?
You guys doing a draft cast next week?
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
When's the draft? Thursday, right?
Yeah. And what time Eastern is the draft?
8 o'clock.
7.
Oh, 7?
Do you guys
Hold on.
want to? Do you
I
guys
will
want
Do
to
a
confirm
try?
right now.
live
Hold on.
draft.
You guys
cast?
want to do it through the first round?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I'll hang
shit.
for the first round. It'll be a long one, but still, it'll be a fun hang.
Um,
I'm just a guest here.
I'm good
Anthony.
for it because that'll be 5 p.m. my time, so I'm good there.
wow.
If
Glad
you
it works out for you.
It starts at 8 p.m.
He's tap dancing.
All right, so like with the normal start time for this cast. All right, cool.
Well, we should probably hop on like 7:45.
Yeah, get it ready
Okay.
and yeah, I got a TV ready. Yeah, this will be great.
Can't wait to see the Eagles. You're gonna.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
by the way, can we also talk about possible trade rumors? Kevin, the Steelers screwed up big time.
With what?
The tight end, dude.
With Eric Ebron?
Yeah. Guess
Why?
who's on the trade block?
Huh.
O.J. Howard.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Tampa Bay's trying to get rid of O.J.
Yeah,
Howard.
but here's the thing: we got a better deal with Ebron, and there's still upside with him. So I really
You would have
don't care.
never gotten a good deal.
Yeah,
with OJ
So
Howard would have.
we got a
commanded all the money.
crushed deal with Ebron, and nothing but really upside there. Because if he's not, we'll just split time with him in Vance, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I
By the
keep
way,
seeing all these articles about how much the Eagles love Mims, and it's making me scared.
Wait,
Mims is
Mims
the
is-
best receiver in the draft.
What? No, he's not.
No, it's
Sleeper.
not.
No,
What
who's,
gonna
pick do
happen?
we? Wait,
who's
what
the
pick do we
cat from
have?
Penn State that Ryan keeps talking about?
Hamler,
Hamler,
second
yeah.
round maybe.
Yeah, he'll be a good second round pick. He'll be a good number 2 or 3 receiver.
I
in
keep
the NFL.
seeing. I keep seeing Mims.
He'll be what Juju should be, a number
Well,
2.
Or
Exactly.
I keep seeing Mims, or the Eagles are gonna sell the house for Lamb.
I like either.
Oh,
Mel
that'd be
Kiper-
amazing.
Mel Kiper brought up a great scenario that I'm so on board with: is that the Steelers grab Jalen Hurts in round 3.
Yes,
Do
I
it.
think that's a
I think that's an
brilliant idea.
amazing idea. You're going to
Yes.
get him at an easy round to get him at, and he's going to be a guy that can sit behind Ben for 1 or 2 seasons and come in.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea.
You gotta do
Why
that.
would you keep trying to make Duck Hodges and
You
Mason
gotta
Rudolph
get-
work?
Jalen
You gotta
Hurts
get
would be the
someone.
perfect.
That would be
And
an
sitting-
awesome draft pick.
Bye, guys.
See you later, guys.
Bye.